Neural migration defects. Neural migration defects are caused by defects in the migration of the neurons, basic, where it does not go to the proper site. Why? It is due to defective radial glial fibers which are required for proper neural migration. So there is this person who is responsible for transport and the person is not functioning properly, they are defective, which is why the problem arises in migration, right? So here the person is called radial glial fibers. So radial glial fiber is the part of the brain which is needed for proper migration of the neurons to the proper site. So there are four defects which occur because of this, okay, because of defective radial glial fibers. They are lissencephaly, schizencephaly, porencephaly, and holoprosencephaly. Listen, schizen, poren, holoprosen. Lissencephaly is nothing but agyria, meaning absence of gyri. Gyri are nothing but the convolutions or like bends in the brain. Okay, so encephaly is cerebellum. Lissencephaly is absence of convolutions in the cerebellum. So this leads to four layer cerebral cortex. Usually there is 6 layer cerebral cortex, but here there is only 4 layer cerebral cortex. Because there is less substance, like instead of 6 layers, if there are only 4 layers of cerebral cortex, it means that the substance of the brain is very less, so there is more space. Okay, so it means there is going to be enlarged lateral ventricles, which are nothing but the spaces of the cerebrum that's going to be enlarged. And then because the substance is less, there is going to be microcephaly and microophthalmia as well. So these are the features of lissencephaly. Lissencephaly is agyria. There is no gyri or convulsions. So instead of 6 layers on the cerebrum, there is only 4 layers. And because of that, the lateral ventricle gets big, and then the eyes and the brain get small. Microcephaly and microophthalmia. It is associated with Miller-Dieker syndrome. Miller-Dieker syndrome. Characteristic faces are there. There is prominent forehead, anteverted nostrils, micrognathia, prominent upper lip. Okay, the person looks really very funny. Okay, prominent forehead, anteverted nostrils, micrognathia, prominent upper lip. Okay, so the jaws are small, but then the upper lip is very prominent. The forehead is also very prominent. Okay, what are all in the top? It's prominent. Okay, so like the forehead is in the top, that is prominent. The upper lip is in the top, which is like it is the upper lip. It is prominent. But like whatever should be in the bottom, it is less prominent. For example, there is micrognathia, meaning small jaw. That is small. Okay, and like the nostrils are anteverted. Fine. So that's about lissencephaly. Moving on to schizencephaly. Schizen means a cleft. So it's nothing but presence of unilateral or bilateral clefts within the cerebral hemispheres. That is schizencephaly. Cleft in the brain. Yeah. It's either one side or both the sides, uni or bilateral. Porencephaly is there. It's characterized by the presence of pores. Actually, pores here is nothing but cyst. So it's characterized by the presence of cyst in the brain due to developmental defect or acquired insults like injury or infarction. So it's either a developmental defect or it's an acquired injury or an infarction which causes cyst in the brain. Cyst in the brain is called porencephaly. Most common site of cyst in the brain is going to be the sylvian fissure. It's often associated with the Dandy-Walker malformation. Dandy-Walker syndrome. Okay. Dandy-Walker syndrome is associated with porencephaly, cyst in the brain. Cyst in the brain. And yeah, and then yeah, because we already saw cystic dilatation of the fourth ventricle is a characteristic feature of Dandy-Walker malformation. Going on to holoprosencephaly, it is a defective cleavage of porencephaly. Okay, so as a quick recap, neural migration defect is due to defect in the radial glial fibers. It's of 4 types: listen, schizen, poren, and holoprosen. Listen is because of absence of convulsions. It's associated with the Miller-Dieker syndrome. Schizencephaly is because of presence of cleft in the brain. Porencephaly is cyst in the brain. It's associated with Dandy-Walker. Holoprosen is defective cleavage of porencephaly. Listen is associated with Miller-Dieker. Poren is associated